Broads Media.
Look, as bad as the game actually was, the outcome is important. The result that we needed, we got. I wasn't thrilled. I'm not happy that this offense goes against Bailey, Falter, goes against nobodies in this league. Dudes that sniff a 7 ERA, and here's the offense going quiet. Here's Nick Castellanos check swinging with a pitch that's 38 feet off the plate. There was a video going viral on Twitter just showing the display of how pitiful Nick Castellanos can be at times. I don't understand. I just don't. This team pisses me off. But. Aaron Nola was beautiful. 7 1/3. His swing and miss stuff was nasty. With some of that off speed, he had guys fooled all night long. He finished with 9 strikeouts. Really, really good stuff. And good stuff that Pache could come up big in the clutch. Look, it's not as if he's Mr. Reliable. He's not as if he's a guy that this team constantly goes to. You put Rob Thompson. Well, I guess Rob Thompson put himself in a tough position. But this team was put in a tough position because Rob pinch runs for Kyle. Now Kyle's spot in the order comes up with the game on the line. And will Pache have his managers back? And he sure did. And it was awesome to see Brandon Marsh as excited as he was for a guy that he's technically in competition with in the outfield, even though Brandon Marsh's history speaks for itself so far this season. The dude's not losing his spot to anybody right now, so it's easy to have that type of, excitement when you know your spot is safe due to explosion happening. It was cool to watch him fly out of the dugout. And Rob was asked after the game about Rojas because you saw in the background that he was favoring something. But I guess Rojas after the game said he was all good. Rob was unaware that anything even happened. So just something to monitor because I thought that Rojas played a very good center field. You know, one thing that it really puts in perspective, if Rojas can be something offensively, you have an elite defender by a large margin out in center field. This guy's just magnificent. When he tracks down a fly ball, it is smooth as hell. Maybe it's because we've been deprived of center field play for so long, or this guy is that filthy, and it's actually both. I think not only do we have someone who is so good, so amazing that he can make a couple mistakes and still get back to the ball and underneath of it perfectly. That's not the case normally here in a Philadelphia Phillies uniform. When he gets a jump into the gap, sometimes he makes it look way easier than it even is. Most guys have to have a diving effort and snow cone it at the edge of their glove. And here he is trotting so far past the ball that he actually over jumps it too perfectly. He's too good. Now we have a guy who's too good out there. But what needs to happen is something offensively for this to be someone who can hold the fort down. But I'm just saying, if he could ever find real rhythm at the dish, then holy smokes, do we have something here. Just has to figure it out. Look, for you small ball people, they played a little small ball there at the back end of their lineup with Merrifield with the button. That's really more of a product of this dude hitting in the hundreds, because if he's hitting 230, they're probably letting him swing at it. It's only due to desperation because you are playing that horrendous. But I guess you could say when things aren't going well, you have to scratch your way through. You got to do something, because if you're just constantly striking out and you're not putting together strong at-bats, well, you have to do something. So they elect to bunt over and put Stott over to third base in extra innings, and the rest is history there with Pache. Although with Bryce and Stott's speed, it'll be interesting to see what would have happened there. We need our real offense to step up, though. There's no doubt about it. We need Bryce Harper. He did get a knock, an RBI in there, but he was also showing real signs of anger. Once again, throwing stuff, fired up, and we love it. He brings that heat, no doubt, but you could tell he's bothered by this. That's why this whole, we're only 14 games in, right? He sort of had some sarcasm back towards Jeff Kerr of CBS Sports not too many days ago when asked about the offense maybe pressing. We're 14 games in. Well, when you show that type of madness and when you show that you're PO'd that much, well, it's more than just 14 games or else you wouldn't be reacting that way. And I'm not mad at him for reacting that way. I'm just more defining why it is important to maybe discuss slow starts and discuss batting averages and discuss how people are performing at this time of the year. Because if it was a, oh, who cares, or if it is a way too early to even talk about it type of stage, then your MVP superstar wouldn't hate that he's playing this poorly. It does impact you. It does impact this team. They're barely scoring any runs right now. And part of the reason why they're barely scoring any runs right now is because Bryce Harper hasn't been tearing it up yet. It's coming at some point. He's getting bad luck. I've seen a lot of the ways that he squared up some of these pitches. But until you get the results that you're looking for, that can only carry you so far. You know what I mean? So I don't know why this offense is so bad, but this offense needs to click. I saw some better things out of Trey. I'm watching him get a double end up the middle. First couple innings or so, that defense, that glove, that was a web jab. I don't see many web jabs from Trey Turner, but that was some really solid defense up the middle of the field with a nice throw over to first base where Bryce holds the bag nicely. And I don't know why I'm really giving Bryce anything here. He just made a standard catch over at first. But still, you got it done, baby. And Bryce had awesome defense in the 10th. Seranthony Dominguez escapes because there should have been, I guess it's not really all his fault when there's somebody on second base and you get the ghost runner. So, yeah, I was going to blame Seranthony Dominguez there because every time he's in the game, something bad happens. This one, not really his fault. But if you're getting the ball in the 10th, you know what the expectations are. Whether it's fair to you or not, when you're getting the nod in the 10th, you know that the base runner is there. And when you realize you're not getting your number called in the 7th and the 8th and the 9th, you got to start mentally preparing. Hey, if Rob picks up that phone and they call the bullpen, most likely I'm going to be considered for the 10th. You have to wire yourself that I'm not letting that guy at second base score. It's not like my job is to only allow one run and we could survive and maybe try to score on our bottom half of the inning. It's no. I'm going to give us an advantage in the bottom half of the inning to walk it off by not giving up a run now. And without Bryce Harper's defense, the Rockies are scoring there. The Rockies stink. They stink. It should never take this to beat them. It's better than losing the game. And it is cool to see someone like Pache, not your Mr. Go-To, not the guy that you buy the jerseys for, but he comes off the bench, he supports the skip, and he delivers. I don't really want to talk myself into this meaning anything moving forward because I watched Nick Castellanos walk off the Pirates. Big name guy going through a lot of criticism, and that couldn't inspire the crew to put a bunch of games together. So if they fall flat the following day, is Pache the end-all be-all here? Is he the difference maker here? Can his walk-off be more powerful than Nick's walk-off? Hey, one game over 500, baby. It's actually sickening that it has taken me this long to even reference Jeff Hoffman, your new starting linebacker at home plate. What a play! Now, was he blocking the play? Yeah, Freeland coming down full speed. He looked to be injured afterwards. I never saw an update on where he was. I didn't see anything from, the other team's manager to get an update, but he's going to town there, hitting home plate full speed. What a play by JT to make up for a ball that would have been a pass ball. Oh, no, not like this. We can't be losing to the Rockies like this. We can't have that happen. Not to this team. And JT Real Mucho gets it to home plate, and Jeff Hoffman does his best Sheldon Brown. I don't know. They had to stay with whatever was called on the field. I thought originally he looked safe. The more and more I rewatched it, I could see him not being safe, but I don't know if there would have been any real pure 1,000% evidence that you could overturn anything that was stated on the field. So they got it right from that aspect, and he probably was out, and I think it was intense there, and it was blocking the plate and all, but whatever. Sometimes you just have to find a way, and if that happens to be a little tiny bit lucky due to a 50-50 coin flip, because in real time, I think you could call whatever there. What the hell? Jeff Hoffman does it all. I'm not kidding you. I could see a scenario where Howie Roseman goes, "Hey, Jeffrey, nice to meet you. Howie Roseman here. You got some free time this fall?" And then Jeff's going to say, "Howie, thanks for the call. I'm going to be in the NLCS Game 7, closing it out at home. Bases loaded ninth. Rob's going to me. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to draft a linebacker." Just saying, Howie. All right, let's go to the Anytime Hotline. Let's hear from the people. What a crazy game. I still can't believe what happened with Hoffman. And full disclosure, I went upstairs to let my dogs out, so I'm letting them run around out back. They haven't been able to go out back for the last 3 months, 2 months, because we were getting a lot of construction done at the house. It was muddy, so it's the first time of them free flying out there, full speed, beautiful day outside. They were having a blast. I figured, all right, one last time before we call it a night for them, I'll put the lights on back there and let them cook. So I do that, and I go downstairs, and I'm watching the replay, and I'm like, wait, what the hell did I miss? What the hell did I miss? So then I had to go back, rewind it a little bit, and check it out in full speed first. What a crazy-ass bizarre play. In what world is Jeff Hoffman tagging out Kyle Freeland running to home plate after a pitch that gets into the dirt? What a world. Found a way to win, though, baby. That's important. All right, to the phones. Let's do it.
Yo, how's it going, bros? All right, so let me first get my positives out of the way. First and foremost, Aaron Nola just came and fucking did his thing today.
Yes, sir.
7 in the third inning with 9 strikeouts is insane. And then that fucking play at home plate with Jeff Hoffman was mind-blowing. I actually thought that they were going to score that a run. But other than that, negatives, it's got to be the offense, man.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? Like, our top 5 offense is playing like a bottom 5 offense in baseball right now, which is unacceptable. Like, we're paying these guys all this money, and for what? Like, they can't show out. Like, they got to come in and have better at-bats. That's just plain and simple. So, I don't know what it is that they got to do, but, they got to figure something out. I know it's still early in the season. You got a lot of games to go, but eventually, that can't be an excuse. So,
I don't know what they have to do at this rate. Looking at some of the box score from tonight, Kyle Schwarber went 0 for 3 in your leadoff position. Obviously, he did not bat in that 10th inning because they put Pache into pinch run, but he had a strikeout. He had a fly out to shortstop. He had a ground out to first base. He did walk, though, and you did think that there was a chance there when Alec Boehm pinched hit. Dude, Boehmer, was that the chance? Was that the game? Was the game on the line with Boehm? Not many of us probably were thrilled thinking of Pache with it, okay, with the moment Pache. It's what I was telling you before. Ever since last year's NLCS, it completely changed my entire mind on what I need out of my lineup. Even if you're not great, I can't have incompetent because you don't know when the game is going to come down to someone not named Bryce, not named Kyle, not named Trey. And right now, they're even questionable, right? But I'm just saying, in theory, you want them up to the plate more times than anybody else. So here you have Pache, just like we had Rojas. You don't know. So I need some version of competence. And it looks like out of Pache, we have that. There were times last year, believe it or not, that Pache made me go, huh? Whether he drove the ball into the gap, he started off an inning with a double, and he's inspiring the fellas with some juice, celebrating, giving them a "what's up, brother." I'm not a big sketch guy, so I don't know, but I do know, But all right, Kyle Schwarber 0 for 3. Trey Turner, 1 for 4 and a run scored. Bryce Harper, 1 for 3 and a ribby. JT, 1 for 4. Your boy, Nicky C, down to a 177 batting average. He follows up an effort that I didn't love with an effort that I did not love. Bryson Stott had 2 hits. Man, Aaron Nola was something else. Something else. So last game, Nick went against the Pirates when they lost 9-2. Nick went 1 for 3. He reached on an infield single that should not have been a single. Remember? I believe that was the play that was an error, and Mike Schmidt was going, I can't understand the rules these days. If you listen to that broadcast, it was dumbfounded because Tom McCarthy and Kruk were like, what do you mean? He slipped. Yeah, slipping is part of an error. So Nick technically got a hit there, even though he didn't deserve one. The way that they score these days is quite frankly embarrassing. I think I could hit 212 just because of the fact that I could accidentally hit a ground ball, they slip, and I get on first base, and the MLB chalks it up to a nice knock. All right, let's take the next call here.
Hello, bros. Rowdy from Syracuse.
What's up, Rowdy?
Now, that's how you close out a ball game. Excellent. I mean, I got to preface this with JT's my favorite player. I used to catch. But boy, those bobbles he had in the 9th inning were really worrisome. But what a way to recover, find that ball in the air. Nice little shuffle pass to Hoffman. Hoffman trucking, big stop, big play. I think his foot definitely blocked the base runner's foot for sure. So I don't think there's any question about that. And then Casty, I mean, he got close there in that bottom of the 9th. He's getting close. He's getting there. He's going to start pounding him, I feel it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that walk-off, I mean, and, first of all, big time move for Merrifield to bunt over Stott. That's a big-time, unselfish veteran play, especially for guys batting like almost 100 right now. I could see how he'd want to be, putting the lumber on the ball, but I mean, he did the unselfish thing. That's a big-time veteran play. Move Stott up, and then Pache comes in. I mean, Pache's been doing pretty well. He's putting good moves on the ball. He's making good defensive plays when he's in the field.
I do believe that he's a good defender, and I think there's something to it. It's just a work in progress. Outside of Brandon Marsh, it just seems like we have some guys that we need to let grow and let spend a lot of time to go through ups and downs, and that's hard when you're dealing with a let's go win a championship roster. It's a weird marriage, and that's why they're having a difficult time, and it's lovely that Brandon Marsh took a whole nother elevation in his game for sure. But you touched on the fact that Whit Merrifield put down on that bun. And you're right. I mean, from a team-oriented sense, if I'm going to praise the living hell out of Brandon Marsh for running full speed out of that dugout like he's running track in the Olympics, that's how juiced up and jolted up he was for his teammate. Well, I mean, I do need to recognize that when you see the graphic on the bottom of the screen and it says Whit Merrifield, it says Rojas, it says Pache with the chance to win the game in the 10th, to take some pressure off of them to do something for what's better for the team, even though a single could still score a speedy guy from second, it makes it a lot easier and takes the weight off of them when they're 90 feet closer to home plate. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, look, if he was hitting well, he wouldn't be doing that just for Rojas or Pache, but then they pinch hit for Rojas, and putting that pressure on Bohm is okay. So I guess Whit probably knew, we're going to go to Bohm anyway. So if that's the case, then just forget what I just said. Remove that, and it's not even relevant whatsoever, because he probably knows Bohm is going. Okay, we're back to my original thought. I tried to say, yeah, you know what? I like where that's going. But the more and more I think about it, Whit Merrifield just knows that he stinks right now and doesn't have any confidence in the world. It has nothing to do with the guys behind him. Because if my man was hitting 220, he would be swinging for the fences. If Bohm was behind him, if Rojas was behind him, he wouldn't give a damn. He'd be looking for those numbers. Those numbers. I'm sorry. I tried. But you're right about JT. Hey, if you're worried about some pass balls or potential movement back there, let's not act like that guy hasn't been through hell already. He probably feels like he's been through 63 games of the season. He looks up there, one game over 500, 17 games into the season. So at some point, I'm sure that's going to catch up to him, that he plays this very physical brand. His toughness, eats a lot of innings, gets hit by pitches, takes foul balls off the forearm, this and that. I mean, the guy is an absolute warrior. But at some point, I would imagine you can't keep up that level of pace all year, right? It's just impossible. You will break down. So I'm not saying he's breaking down right now, but I know that if he continues to take that type of beating, it's going to impact. It's not a knock on JT. That's reality of being a human. It's my scientific side. If you want, maybe we can open up a pod. A little science with bros. You know what I'm saying? Could really get the people going. All right, let's take one more, and then we'll wrap things up.
Watching this Phillies game here, tied 1-1, bottom of the sixth. And I'm just looking at the body language here for the Philadelphia Phillies, and it's just abysmal. We just can't – it's just tough. I just don't like the body language of the players. They do not look like they're in tune. They look like they don't even want to play baseball, and we're playing against a Rockies team that, yes, Chris Bryant is not playing for the Rockies like he's not a superstar or anything like that, but good grief, like, let's really dominate this squad and let's really set the tone for game one.
I like what you're saying. I would like for that to happen. Now, obviously, he called mid-game. We ended up winning by one more run there. Made it 2-1. But, yeah, your offense needs to carry you. The Rockies are a team that a lot of squads lick their chops for. Okay? They just go and handle business and demolish. They smoke them. By accident. By accident, you're winning 7-1. By mistake, you're winning 8-2. The fact that you have to grit your teeth and get ugly, it's disappointing. The result matters, okay? You can't be dropping games to the Rockies. You can't be dropping games to the Rockies. You can't be dropping games to the Rockies. So winning the game, I want to make sure you know that I am proud of this W, even though it comes with being aggravated. They needed to get the win. But I don't know why it looks this hard to do it. You're right about the body language. They're not fun. They're not fun to watch. They look defeated. Bryce is throwing things. Back-to-back series here, we're hearing about how mad Bryce is at himself for not doing well enough. That's Bryce being Bryce, but that means something ain't right. Because when it's Bryce, the swing of his life, when it's this team winning a bunch of games, Bryce is hitting 308. Bryce has 9 home runs. Bryce has 20-plus ribbies in a stretch. When he's not, we ask questions on what's going on here. We got to get Bryce going, especially if Trey is starting to get on base in front of him. So sometimes we get Schwarber singles. Now we're getting Trey hitting for a decent average, better than decent, a damn good average. So Bryce, that needs to be the next step. And let's just hope that when it's Bryce's turn, that doesn't mean Trey Turner cools off. And then he needs a standing ovation or something like that. You know what I mean? All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. We'll react again tomorrow and see how they do after this one. See if they can put a couple wins together here. I love you guys to death. Thank you all so much. And I'll talk to you very, very soon.